True, I've seen her boobs.
You got
Her boobs?
Boobs.
Boobs.
True, I've seen her boobs.
Okay.
Redo it.
Okay.
That's what happens when you drink on Meet Us on Main
There you go.
Hi, I'm Stacy with Edgewater Creative.
And I'm Tia with Done Classy Events.
We're two small business owners who reside in the beautiful city of Dunedin, Florida.
We love our charming city on the Gulf and want to share with you all it has to offer.
Join us as we chat with business owners, event hosts, and charities located in Dunedin and other surrounding communities.
So come along and meet us on Main Street. Good evening and welcome to Meet Us on Main Street.
Good evening or good morning.
And good night. This week's episode is brought to you by fluids of all kinds.
That's right, Tia. We have 3 drink sponsors for this week's episode. Dunedin House of Beer, Cotherman Distillery, and CUNY Brewing Company.
We like to keep very hydrated here on the show, and we like to keep our fluids very stacked. And we appreciate all of our fluid sponsors. And we appreciate all of our fluid sponsors for this episode.
That's right. We have tasty beverages provided by the above. Thanks so much, guys. If you would like to contribute to our fluid intake, we are currently accepting from the other breweries and distilleries locally.
And that was our advertisement. All right. Hi, guys. Hello and welcome to yet another episode of Meet Us on Main Street, the podcast. The original Dunedin OG. Whoop, whoop, whoop. I'm Tia.
And I'm Stacy.
And we're going to take our intro very short this time because we have a very special episode for you all because we don't have just one guest that we're interviewing. We have 2. Gasp and awe. And Stacey, would you like to tell them who our guests are today?
That's right, Tia. We have Rock Rocco from Beyond the Wall Bed and Breakfast and also Heather Miniello from Meranova Bed and Breakfast. It is the battle of the B&Bs.
And I let her say the names because she's always so much better of actual pronunciation, so.
I try.
All right, guys. Well, like I said, we have a very special episode for you, so we're keeping this short and sweet, and stay tuned for our interview.
Okay, so we're here with Heather Miniello from Meranova Bed and Breakfast and Rock Rocco from Beyond the Wall Bed and Breakfast. It's very breakfasty and bed episode today. How's everyone doing?
Great.
Excellent.
Tia, how are you doing?
I'm doing fantastic. Thank you so much for asking.
Oh, you're welcome.
That's the most you're going to hear from me today because I'm going to be bartending. So,
yes.
Tia out.
Today we have a couple of beverage sponsors, and our first beverage, I almost said breakfast, beverage sponsor is Dunedin House of Beer.
Cheers.
So we are enjoying a lovely IPA that was brewed there, and thank you so much to Andy for providing us with our beverage today.
All right, well, we're going to start off with the cheers.
So cheers to everyone.
Did you hear that?
If you're listening,
Cheers.
feel free to enjoy with a beverage of your own.
We really are drinking. This is not simulated.
It's delicious.
And Rock's not wearing pants. Mm-hmm. He wanted to say that.
Okay.
All right, so since we have 2 of you here, whoever wants to go first, tell us a little bit about yourselves and how you came to be in Dunedin.
I guess I will go first. This is Heather from Meranova.
Hopefully we can tell the difference.
No kidding.
So, going way back, I moved down from Virginia for college, and then I met my husband about 8 years into being down here. I moved over here to this side of the bay from South Tampa to Tarpon. I was a realtor, and he was flipping houses, so it was a match made in heaven. And we decided to branch out after 5 years of flipping houses and managing rentals into B&B life.
Nice.
And it was my dream to live in downtown Dunedin. So we started looking for property down here, and my office happens to be on Main Street, Coastal Properties Group. And I found Meranova. It was for sale when we were looking. So we went to a lot of banks and worked really hard to get approved. We have been busting our ass for the last 2 years to grow this business from, I mean, it was already 20 years in, but it had a lot of growth opportunity. It wasn't online. It had no presence online at all, like no Facebook, TripAdvisor, none of that. So I've just been growing that part of it and working to expand so that we can offer breakfast to the public. And we do events now, community events with yoga and wine, calligraphy. Rock really likes that. So we're really happy to be downtown now. This has been a dream for a while. I've been with my husband for 7 years, and it's really nice to finally be downtown and out of a small town. That's all.
You guys are in a central location too, but I have to say, since you've come on board as the owner, it really has gained a presence because it was there for so many years, and I've been here since 2007, and I didn't even know it existed until you bought it and started getting out there and, you know, really advertising it. It was just kind of tucked away, and which also, you know, it's such a beautiful location, and when you're staying there, you feel like you're in a private little resort. To actually get out in public is important too.
Yes, so our favorite motto is that it's the best kept secret on Main Street because we have so many locals that have said the same exact thing, that they had no idea it was ever there.
I just found out today. Jeez.
The previous owners really kept to themselves. They ran a beautiful place, but they weren't as out there in the public eye every day. And we really are trying to make a name for Meranova. It's already a gorgeous place. We took over everything as it was, and we kept most everything the same, except for making it accessible to the public for people that aren't staying there. Guests can bring their family that they're visiting from out of town to have brunch with us, and anybody can come to our event.
And Rock, how about you?
This journey probably started, Michelle and I have been married 26 years in the military. We've been all over the world. 19 countries, and we've lived in 12 places in 26 years. I think she's been in every state but 2. I've been in every state but 4. So we've been around, and we were on Guam when she retired from the Air Force. We moved to Clearwater Beach and realized that it wasn't the right spot for us. I mean, within 2 weeks, really. And we came up the bike path, and we found Dunedin, and it was a huge accident. The first place, and we're drinking their beer, the first place I stepped into physically was we were on our bikes, and I saw the 40 beers on tap on the roof. I didn't even look. I cried, like, whoo, just veered over, probably almost got hit by a car or something, and we went in, and Dunedin is, the German Shepherd at that time jumped up on a bar stool beside me, wow, dog's here. And then Michelle and I were standing in Purple Heart Park as veterans, and we looked across the street, and there's a big banner that said, Dunedin salutes freedom. There's a guy playing buffet, a golf cart rides by, there's a gay bar, and everyone is just happy, kind of a thing. So we said, So it ended up being for the next year, every weekend, we ended up in Dunedin, and we finally looked at each other one day, very exactly like Heather. We looked at each other one day and said, how do we get to downtown Dunedin and have someone else pay our mortgage? And so we started looking for things, and we found the property. It was 4 lots. They needed combined, rezoned. And I told Michelle that we didn't want to get caught up in this, 18-month long, maybe old Mrs. Smith on the lone dissent or on some board. We don't need another this. We don't need another that. So I said, we're going home run. We're going to put this little Key West resort downtown, and we're going to get them combined, rezoned. When can you start? And that's pretty much what happened there. So Dunedin, the vibe and the happy and the, look at Heather and I sitting here right now. So it's about collaboration, and instead of trying to blow each other out of the water, we're all trying to kind of win on the same team. So,
yeah, there doesn't seem to be a real rivalry between the two
there used to
small
be.
bed and breakfast
She
owners.
hated me when we first met. Oh my gosh,
He was
the
too
look she
pretty
would
for
give me.
I mean,
Did you
hair
have your
was
bacon
flowing.
rag with you?
I had my bacon rag. Yep.
That's guaranteed to get a strange look out again.
We shared some bacon on the way here today. It
We
was
did.
delicious.
Bacon on the dashboard of my Jeep, you guys. We're not joking. It was warmed up in the sun because it was cold. Marine
Delicious.
style. Instead of on the hood of a Humvee, it was on the dashboard of my Jeep.
Nothing goes better with our beers.
Well, that's why I like Sea Dog's beer, that maple bacon stout, if you've ever tried it. They actually put bacon inside of the beer.
Woo!
So, you know.
Breweries, take note.
Yes. We need some more bacon. So tell me, you mentioned kind of your past job, or you're still a realtor, correct?
Yes, I'm still licensed.
And Rock, you mentioned that you were in the military.
Yeah.
So how does being an innkeeper compare to your previous jobs?
Night and day. I live where I work. There's no escaping. It's really, it's surreal. I always joke that I'm living my Lorelai Gilmore dream.
I love it. Yeah.
For a while there, I had a female chef helping me. She
You're
was my
Suki.
Suki. Brittany, I love you.
I'm surprised you didn't name your daughter Rory.
I'm tempted. But she was 1.5 years by the time we moved in. So I
That would
could
have
not.
just been awkward then.
For sure. So yeah, we raise our daughters there too. I mean it's hard to have a preteen and a toddler. They neither have a filter, and they all say whatever the f they want. Oh, I can say fuck, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, they all
We're
say whatever the
explicit here
fuck
on
they
Meet Us
want.
on Main Street.
So Valentina helps me check in guests. She's my 2-year-old. And Gia does too. She's the 12-year-old, but she's usually in school when guests are checking in. But the guests that have met her are highly impressed with her, like her conversational skills. They both come across as like little adults because they're so used to hanging out with 55 and plus guests. That's the majority of our guests are older. I mean, our girls are living a much different life from their peers. They're in the public eye every day, and they're interacting with adults on a daily basis. They just are much more socialized, for sure. So,
Yeah, it sounds like it's definitely an interesting upbringing for them. You know, I'm sure
Yes.
they're going to have a lot of good memories
for sure. Yeah.
when they grow up.
Yeah, we all are having a great time with it.
One of the things I want to say is we've had some guests, very interesting, like Heather was talking about, that told us that they grew up, you know, these are adults now, but they grew up in a bed and breakfast, you know, in New Hampshire, this or that. So they come in and there's such empathy with them because they know what it takes to do what we do, especially at the level. And in case I forget to say it later on, the very, very friendly competition between us and Meranova, crazy benefits to people wanting to stay. So,
For sure.
like, our reviews and our numbers are all kind of neck and neck. And, you know, we give each other advice and like, hey, we do this or we buy this. And but everyone benefits from that. So, I just want to say that.
Yeah, definitely. I can see
Yes,
that.
don't be afraid of competition downtown.
It's fun.
It breeds improvement.
Yeah, and as far as the military, or the question you gave her, is it different? Well, it's a people thing, and so you deal with people. And our business model is very different. But between I did IT for 20 years, some law enforcement, of course, the military, following Michelle around and stuff. But she talked about an island. Heather did, and I lived. Guam was a good example. So 2 or 3 years on Guam. Guam is an island. And you get island fever because you run into the same people, the same places. There's only so many places to eat. You start going crazy. And I find that I'll start stressing out a little bit and go, you know what? I have not been off this property in 4 days, literally. And so my little secret hobby is I'll go up to Ace Hardware and go to the stainless steel section. And it's just like, oh my gosh. And I'll start putting bolts and nuts together. Like, we'll just work on my motorcycle.
Now we know
kind of
your
stuff.
secret guilty
That's where
pleasure.
you'll find me. I'll get a Red Bull.
Handling the nuts in Ace
Handling
Hardware.
the nuts. Yes. Yeah, so the island thing is very, very true. Is it different? You're dealing with the public. I always said when IT-wise that IT will alter your DNA dealing with people and computers, you know. And I had a sign on my desk for years that said, you know, computers are easy, it's people that are hard. And it's exactly the same. So my IT career, which carries over to the bed and breakfast world, my IT career, for people that have seen the show House, that's how I was an IT person. So I was extremely good at what I did. which kept me employed because they couldn't get rid of me because of my talent. But I got into a lot of trouble. No bedside manner. I just fixed your stuff and walked out because I don't need to hear anything. Okay, people have different definitions of what customer service is. So I used to say, and it's very much like the bed and breakfast world. Would you want me to sit down in your cube and talk about your grandchildren with you, and let's look at your cat pictures, and say, you know what, I really don't know how to fix this. Let me look it up, and I'll come back tomorrow. Or do you want me to come in and fix it, give you a dirty look because you broke it, and walk out?
Right.
Which one do you want? And it's very much like that. With different business model with the and what is true customer service. We keep everything nice and clean. Everything works.
They do. I've seen all their rooms. They're beautiful.
Thank you. But it could be, hey, we're so sorry. Your air conditioner doesn't work. Oh, we're so sorry. The hot tub doesn't work. But you think I'm so wonderful and I'm nice and I'm giving you a foot massage and it's so lovely. But no, everything works. Everything's going to be clean. And I'm going to make fun of the way you parked when you pulled in. Because you can't park.
And then take you out for a beer later.
Yeah, exactly.
That's how he rolls.
Yeah. So that's give you jazz. We expect it back too. So
For sure.
that's it.
Now, you mentioned in there a couple of things of what people would consider to be pet peeves, but what is your biggest pet peeve?
Asking a question that's already been answered on the website. Just read, people. That's all we ask. Just read.
Oh my gosh.
They're short sentences, I promise.
Bullets. Yeah. They're not even complete sentences.
Yeah. Do you have any rooms available? That's a really great question because it's so easily answered by Google.
Yeah.
Oh, you forgot. They don't ask that. They say, "Hey, I'm on your website right now, and you're not showing any availability. Do you have any?"
Yes.
Yeah.
Or how far are you from the beach? I get that literally every day. I don't know. Can you let me know when you find out?
Check on Google Maps, put in the address of the inn, and then the address of the beach. There you go.
Yes. If they're out of the country, I will respond to them. But if they're in country, then yes, it drives me crazy.
They're just in Tampa.
Yes. We get a lot of staycationers. I don't know about you, but we do too.
We do get a lot of staycationers. Pillows, that's an interesting thing. I had a guy one time called me, wanted to know everything you could possibly want to know about pillows, our pillows.
Oh.
And so it even got to the point where I, walking around with my cell phone and a headset, went and got a pillow and started reading to him what was on the tag of the pillow. And we have 3 different kind of pillows. So I give him all the information. I might even have taken a picture and sent it to him. Get off the phone with him. This is 15 or 20 minutes. And I'm like, okay, so who am I dealing with here? And I bring him up in the system, and I see that he's from Tampa. And I think to myself, if you have that kind of relationship with your pillow, okay, you're not coming in from Iowa, okay, where it's not going to fit in my suitcase. I don't want to carry it across 3 time zones.
Right.
You're coming from Tampa. Put it in your car.
Yeah,
your pillow.
bring your freaking pillow.
Yeah.
So yeah, stuff like that. And she's right. The questions, definitely on the beach is one of them. It's our frequently asked questions. Our answer to that is, are you on the beach? And the answer is, are you on a device that blocks Google Maps? I mean, you're killing me. Go see. It's probably like number 13 on our frequently asked questions. So. Yeah, and do you serve breakfast? And, what part of Florida are you in? That is one of my
that's
favorites.
a good one.
Yeah.
What part of Florida are you in?
Like, how did you happen upon my phone number then if you don't know what part of Florida I'm in?
Yes. Oh,
Yes.
Random.
Yeah, the same place you got this number and email address from. Because we have a form, a contact form. There's a drop down so you can pick all the reasons.
Yeah.
And some of them are facetious, like you want to help us paint or you want to buy me a beer.
Oh my
And
gosh.
a lot of people do that. And I immediately know that there are kind of people when they do that. But if you're there to send it from the form from my website and your question is, do you have availability for this date? Okay. Yeah.
So just to be clear, both of you have the option to book online.
Yes.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, I did not have that when we bought it. It was only booked by phone.
I can't imagine.
Oh, that's annoying.
And well, no, it was because they wanted to pre-screen whoever was going to stay with them.
Well, then that's smart.
And yes, it was. So, Frank,
see, you
I
come
love
up-
you. Frank had a saying, sorry, that was like,
It's okay.
God made Eden, and in here you're God. And you're in charge. So don't be afraid of the guests or anybody that, coming in giving you shit. Just own it. And, this is your little piece of paradise. Oh, God made paradise. And in here you're God. So protect the paradise. So edit all that out.
That's cool.
Thank you.
Good.
So it gave me the confidence to be like, not afraid of all the the older people that were like, we've been staying with Frank and David for 15, 20 years.
Yeah.
Are you guys going to live up to that? I'm like, fuck yeah, we will. I was trained by Frank. I will serve you the same quality food, and we have the same customer service level, and I've improved everything, if anything. Like, I replaced all the beds, I replaced all the linens, we improved the toiletries, like, everything.
I have a question, though. How
Yeah.
are the pillows?
Oh, they're amazing. And apparently the mattresses are, too. We have shredded bamboo pillows as well. No, they're pricey, right?
Yeah. Except they kill turtles. You guys know that.
Oh, fuck. Don't
Maranovas, pillows, kill turtles.
say that. We do not kill turtles. We
What
are
kind of
certified
pillows do
ocean
you
friendly.
have, Rock?
I do not know. So my wife and I.
After all of that time
No.
talking to that
He
man.
just kills small children in third world countries.
So she started this. This is our natural habitat when we're downtown, not on the mic, but we do make up stuff about each other's
For sure.
things that are not true,
Beyond amazing.
but they're very, very funny.
You have to go under the wall to get in.
Under the wall. So Michelle and I, the reason we've been married 26 years in this business, husband and wife business, that's brutal too, is we stay in each other's lanes. And if you veer into her lane, she will honk like you've never heard before. Okay? So that is her domain. But one of the things I wanted to come up with, minus the bacon, or the bacon rag, is the... like a sleep number. You know how your bed has a sleep number? Mm-hmm. So I think that after being in this business, there should be a pillow number. So I could have 80 pillows, like buy a whole warehouse just for pillows.
good idea.
And then when you send your check-in appointment form, you tell me that, she's a 33, I'm an 87. And then there's a designated global designation for pillows.
Yeah.
And then now we're all set.
Pillows are very important.
Right?
Yes, do you know how many pillows I've bought? It's really
Yes.
hard to find the right pillow for everybody because they tend to need to be standard.
Yeah.
Sheets too. It's taken me a long time to find the right distributor of sheets.
Distributor of sheets. Say that 10 times.
Yeah.
All right, so this round of questioning will be brought to you by Cotherman's Distillery, which for today's episode, we will all be taking shots of their American single malt whiskey. Y'all ready?
Yeah.
All right, everybody grab your
Heck
shots.
So veteran owned and operated too, by the way, you guys.
Oh, yeah.
Downtown.
Ah,
Important.
nice.
Mike was Army.
Cheers, Mike.
Cheers.
And you were
Cheers,
Marines?
Cheers,
Yes.
cheers.
And we let each other know that every time we see each other.
All right, salud.
Delicious.
That's smooth. Come on.
Woo.
What's with those faces?
Unless I have pickle juice as my back shot of it, that's going to be my pickleback shots or the shit.
Have you ever had pickle pizza at Madison?
Oh my gosh,
No.
I
Madison
haven't, but I
pizza, my
really
fave.
want one.
It's delicious.
I
Let's
saw
have a
it.
pizza
They
night.
have it
Yes,
this
please.
week.
Good.
Dominic
awesome.
hates pickles. So
Well,
I
this
can't.
week only it's pickle pizza. That's
love or
special.
hate with pickles.
I know. I
some other
fucking
time
love
with the
pickles.
pizza.
I do
It's
too.
delicious.
But you looked at me crazy with the pickleback shot.
Why did we not order a pickle pizza for this?
With the whiskey. Whiskey and pickles.
All right.
Kid Pickles. That's a country song,
You
man.
guys are
Oh, shit.
It really is.
And there's a dog
Whiskey and pickles.
Pregnant song.
You guys
This
are
is
gonna
what
have to come back
happens
on now.
when you incorporate drinks into the podcast.
That's why I suggested it.
This
I just
is
want to say
great.
that I did not have pants on before we even started drinking. So there
Soon
you
the
go.
shirt's coming off.
All right. Let's get back on track.
Drink quench.
All right. Well, this is a question that Rock actually requested that I ask.
Suggested, not requested.
I'm curious about it because do you want to get caught? So the question is, have you ever had to kill a guest and hide the body?
I have a retention pond. I'm required to have it, and I am running out of spots. You know what's interesting? You got to be honest in this business, and even retail and restaurants. You give people nicknames and stuff. So we've had the and I'll date myself. We've had the Thurston Howells, from Gilligan's Island.
We have a princess.
Yes, princess. I had a guy hand his jacket to me when he walked in one time.
Oh, God.
And there's certain places around the country. There's certain it's stereotypical. I'm sorry, but that's the way it is. There's certain cities, certain places in Florida that they'll book, and you'll see the address. And, you'll kind of roll your eyes like, oh, and sometimes you're wrong. But sometimes you're like, yep, there you go. That's exactly true.
Yeah.
So, some guests, you're like, are you kidding me?
So if you find out a guest is from what city?
Ooh, no.
What?
It's not the city.
Naples.
Definitely
Naples.
every place could have a horrible guest.
Yes.
So really.
Yeah, I hear you on that.
Our princess guest has been staying apparently for over 15 years, and we inherited Princess. And she made sure to tell us what a horrible job we did on renovating all the rooms.
Yes.
Oh, that's
We definitely
harsh.
made them beautiful. And
yeah.
she
I've
continues
been
to
there,
stay
and
with
it's
us.
gorgeous.
She continues to stay with us, though, despite how horrible they are. It's just her personality.
Yes.
She hated the room she stayed in. She booked it again for next year.
Of course.
She stays for 6 weeks and requests a hot, what's it called? The little burner. Like a hot plate.
A hot plate.
Yeah, she requests that because it's a kitchenette, and she requests certain pans if you don't give her the correct.
I feel like
dimension
if she's
pans.
listening, she'll definitely know it's her.
She's in
but
her 70s,
from the description,
so I
I
doubt
was
she'll
just
be
going
listening.
to say, from the description you've given, I'm going to assume she's not going to be in our
Definitely.
demographic of
No.
listening to a podcast.
No, but I feel like she would
Probably not.
own it if caught because
God damn right I asked.
So only the,
right?
but only the names change. Only the names change. So at our place, which is a little bit nicer.
Penis out and Meranova.
Our name for that is Zsa Zsa Gabor. So again, I'm dating myself. So we've had some Zsa Zhas. In fact, I remember one in particular. I'll never forget it. She did not like the coffee that we had, and she looked at me and said, she was a foreign, and she said to me, "I am to be made happy." And I'll never forget that.
Fuck yeah.
But she is to be made happy. And
Thank you, Tia.
yes. She booked for 7 days. She left the middle of the second day for reasons that we can't talk about. But yeah. There's something else to talk about too. So in my software, in our place, and I don't even know if they keep track of it, we have a 4% ban rate. So I think we've had almost 3,000 people stay in the
Wow.
3 years we've been open.
That's amazing.
4%. So what is 4%? 4% is in my software. I can go in and basically checkbox, and you can't book again because it'll flag you and tell you that there's no availability. So that being the case, 4%, and this is all about honesty. And I would say there's another 6%. We'll make it a nice even 10. So 4% is something egregious, and it happens. People smoking in our room, people raising their voices to, my wife or some of the help. Really stupid stuff. We live there. And the other 6% is that makes it to 10 is, if you never came back, I wouldn't care, but you really didn't, kind of a thing. So, but the rest of it doesn't matter what industry you work in or even at work. There's 10% straight up. Let's be honest. There's 10% of the people you work with. You're like, you know what? Yeah, I can't deal with you.
Right.
And there's a place for everyone. If you like seafood, don't go to McDonald's. I mean, it's just really super simple.
That's the difference between us and a franchise or a big corporate hotel, is that we live there and we need to feel comfortable living there after that guest leaves, and when they come back again, we don't want to have to.
You've led
Live
right into
uncomfortably.
my next question, Heather, which was
But-
what is the difference between staying at a bed and breakfast as opposed to a chain hotel or
It's easier to answer it what it isn't. So-
Exactly.
I have people ask me all the time. They'll show up. So I have a check-in appointment form, and it started out with we could never leave the property initially because every time that chink noise of the plate hitting the table, and my phone would ring. Hello, we're here. So many times. So I came up with I got to do something this appointment, and so you do it, and then we know every day we have a different window. So check-in starts at 3. There's some days that from 3 to the first person checks in at 6.
Yeah.
There's some days where 4 out of 5 people check in exactly at 3. The next person's at 7:30. So my wife and I know from 3 to 7:30, we can get drunk at CUNY's, Rockman, or House Beer.
our 3 beverage sponsors
Yes,
today.
excellent.
Cheers to
Cheers.
the
Whoop,
3
I
of
said
them. And
secret
thank
word.
you to Tia for being our bartender this
I'm
evening.
calling her the drink wench. But yeah.
I actually like the drink wench a lot better.
So continue. You're getting drunk between 3 and 7:30.
Right. So
Us
so
and them.
people will put one of the questions. It started out with what time. Then it turned into do you have any allergies? are you bringing anything big or weird is one of the questions. Because
way.
we had some people show
That's
up with,
awesome.
75-foot boats.
No.
And I have to knock on every door asking people, can you move your car, this and that. So these kinds of things ahead of time allow me to put cones out, deal with things, stuff like that. But one of the questions is, have you ever stayed at a B&B? And now I know when they show
Very
up, they
important.
haven't.
Yeah.
So if they haven't, we kind of sit down in the lobby and I ask them, what do they think? And it's surprising. People are scared. Like, they don't know what's up. Here's what I tell them. It's easier to explain to them what a B&B is. And so here's what I do is I'll look at, typically it's a couple, that's a super high percentage. I'll look at her and I'll say, do you remember when he brought home an old Army buddy or a frat brother? They hadn't seen each other in 10 years. He's now been married. You haven't met her. And you had fun that weekend. It was all good. But on Sunday, you're on the front porch, you're waving goodbye. And everyone's smiling, but then the door closes. And you grab his ear and you go nose to nose and you say, they don't ever stay here again. And I say to people, that's what you don't do at a B&B. So it's easier to explain what not to do, and they laugh and they understand, don't be that person. I also, on our website, it's do not be the person that comes here and causes a new policy or a modification to an existing policy or generates a new sign. And so that's...
Rock loves his signs.
We like the signs,
By the way.
Please don't breathe underwater. Please don't eat the pillows. I mean, what you have to do with humans is amazing. Anyway, so it's easier to explain what not to do than what to do. And another thing that comes up, they're very confused about what to do when they leave. And I tell them, look, whatever you do when you stay with friends and family, if you strip the bed, please do. If you don't, then don't do it. Nothing's required. Do what you do. And it is kind of amazing to see what people do. There's some people that must have a lot of friends and a lot of family because the way they leave the room, they wouldn't be invited back to that particular friend or family. But there's other people where it is like, are you kidding me? They clean the room almost as good as we do on the way out. They're at the dumpster. I look out there and they're at the dumpster throwing their trash away and stuff. Anyway.
Yeah, so our check-in policy is kind of different. We're pretty laid back, and it's because we have the opportunity to check them in by phone. So we changed all of our doors from key locks to coded locks, and we have cameras everywhere, and ring doorbells and cameras on the exterior. So if people are moving about the property, we can see where they are and kind of direct them by phone. Like, I can see you, turn left, go that way. Works out just
That
fine.
doesn't creep the guests out at all, that you're watching them constantly.
Not constantly. No, only when I go into the little app on my phone. Anyways, yes, we check in by phone, and then we make sure to meet them shortly after that. And breakfast is a whole nother thing, too. We are a little bit different than Rock with that because we serve them to their room instead of in a community area. So...
Okay, so that's
Yeah.
Big
interesting.
difference,
So
yeah.
you have like a designated dining room, or
We do. We're very social. Not that Meranova isn't.
Yeah, we're super social.
But we are, our porches, the way the lobby's set up, and the dining area. If people are quiet in my dining area in the morning, if it's too quiet, I will walk in and, it's my superpower. I'll instigate. How many people think there's a retired police officer in a room? And how many people think, and everyone lights up and tries to figure out who it is. And we put little flags out if you're a veteran, part of our check-in appointment form with your branch of the service, what country you're from. I have flags from all the countries, and I put them out for your country. The criteria is if you're from a country that doesn't burn American flags, then we will put your flag out. If you burn American flags, we don't put your flag out.
makes sense.
Kind of a thing. But one of the things she said, our check-in procedure is a lot more social because we're intentionally vibing off of people. So between the military and the law enforcement kind of thing, I'm trying to smell cigarette smoke. I'm talking to people to find out, sorry, or you're a stick in the mud, or you're
Just a
funny
modern Frank and David.
like how
you want to screen the guests.
I
right?
never did get to say that to you. So I have had one conversation with David,
Yeah.
and he told me, I asked him, how the hell can you have 20 years of reviews, I think it was on Google, and have
TripAdvisor.
straight fives.
TripAdvisor, yeah.
And I said,
It was 155
how
star
have
reviews. I was
you,
shocked.
it's impossible. Who are you paying? What did you do?
Yes.
It can't happen. And he said to me that right from the beginning, him and Frank, and I'll never forget this, he said, we refuse to live in fear.
Yes.
And I said, what do you mean by that? And he said, we screen every single person because, and she's going to agree with me.
Part of that paradise
it
and God
is
thing.
terror. Every person that comes through that door, you'll see something come up from Expedia,
Yes.
booking, hotels, and you'll go, okay, I hope this isn't the one. This isn't the one. And there's a certain percentage. I had to throw some people out a few days ago. And they just weren't right there and raising their voices and crazy. But to not live in fear.
Yep.
That is a very, very valid factor because Michelle and I, we do live in fear.
Yeah.
Every night when we go to bed, I wake up in the morning, there'll be 2 or 3, well, she has 2 or 3 bookings. I have like 8 bookings when I wake up in the morning. But I'll go, oh, who's it going to be? Because the percentage is there. One of those 8, one of those 10,
Yeah.
we know from what I said earlier. They're
I've only
not
had
going to
call the
belong
cops
here.
One time in the last 2 years.
You're going to what?
I've only had to call the cops one time in the last 2 years on guests that arrived to check in drunk and belligerent and cussed us out because the bed was a queen instead of a king, but they chose it.
Yes.
Give them the free upgrade
There's
because we
something.
didn't have the option to upgrade them.
Yeah, guests do choose stuff, and
Yeah.
and then but they when they get there, it's like I didn't choose it.
I didn't pick
Right.
the room.
You choose it. Holy mackerel!
Another lady left because our room was so offensive to her. She said nobody should have to stay in this room, is what she told us. And
is
it was July 4th.
So
the night of July
offensive
4th.
about the room. I
It's
don't.
the traditional room. I kind of love it.
Are there
It's like-
penises on the
It's
wall?
mid-century
Yeah.
modern. She said it was really
Yeah.
They're
offensive.
just
They were celebrating
slurs
their 35th
The erotic
wedding
art.
anniversary. She was like, this was my least favorite of the rooms available, and I did not get the one I wanted. I was like, but
Well,
you picked it. Here's your booking
Yeah, I was going to
showing
say,
that you
did you
chose it.
pay for the one that you
literally,
wanted, which is probably at a higher price point?
Yes, probably. But yeah, July 4th night, like there was no other bookings
Oh,
at
yeah.
all. In the entire city, everybody was booked. So
I had to restrain
She
Michelle.
checked
Michelle
out.
one time, a lady left a review that said the decor on the property leaves a lot to be desired.
oh, that's fun.
Yeah, and I pretended like I was giving her a hug,
fun
like I was it was
decor, like
empathetic,
Key West
but it was
bright
really
colors.
so she
Yes.
wouldn't start breaking stuff. That's why I hugged her.
But this lady threatened to punch JJ. Apparently, my husband.
Wow.
She was very pissed off that we were
Bring
not
it
letting her
on.
just go without paying anything because she booked on a holiday and wanted to leave after checking in.
Wow. So is that probably the biggest complaint then that both of you have heard?
Worse for me, yeah, but his is.
Yeah, people don't get me. So one of the
It's really like a personal thing.
It
to
is
you.
a personal thing.
Really.
So a common theme is that the owner's a dick.
He's really not.
I'm not. So
Once you try, he's
yeah,
friend.
I felt we
friendly.
were very uncomfortable. We thought we were in Marine boot camp. He walks around like a drill instructor. He never smiled the entire weekend.
There's too many rules.
And it's all there's too many rules, and so it's all a bunch of
You
BS.
should have a boot camp for them.
I think
Like
you
for
should,
your
actually.
guests, you
That
should
would
have a
be
boot
awesome.
camp program. That would be fun.
Ooh, a little
I'm
workout.
trying
like
Yeah.
to. I had a lady one time say, and I'm going to imitate her. She said, she looked at me and said, "You don't like people, do you?"
It's totally not true. He loves people.
I do. I love people
And boobs.
Boobs. That's all about the nipples. It has nothing to do with the
Sorry,
boobs.
nipples
Yeah.
and people.
One of the things that's very, very important, I ask people when they walk through the door, have you seen our website? Because that's the scariest thing in the world for me personally. If 90% say, "Oh my gosh, yeah, that's why we're here. We were laughing about it. We were on a plane, blah, blah, blah," and slap me 5. And I say to them, if you saw my website and you still came, oh, we're good. And we slap each other 5. The scariest thing is when they say, "Oh, you know what? You're the first one that popped up. I just need a place to stay for 3 days." And I turn to start showing them the property, and I'm already formulating the response to the review because I already know what they're going to talk about. So it's all about that. So the lady that I'm going to talk about, I said to her, "So, did you see our website?" And she looked at me and she said, "Yes." And I wasn't sure because I give jazz and I do want it back, so I have to make sure they're not messing with me. And I said, so what did you think? She was maybe 65. And I said, "Oh, so what did you think?" And she rolled her eyes and she said, "Let's just say your reviews were good." And she continued walking, and I said, "Oh, here we go." So.
And let's also talk about the fact that we refer each other guests that we know might be a better fit for the other one.
Brilliant. And that is. So when folks want shrimp or a foot massage or a plush robe, I'm like, you're not in the right place. So we send them down there. Or is it bourbon? No, not bourbon. But brandy.
Brandy. We get all of our
Brandy.
guests with brandy and brownies
Yes.
for free.
Now, I do have a question about that. Like, can they call and be like, can I have another brandy and...
Actually, we get texts
Brownie.
for extra brandy and brownies. Usually one or the other. They're wanting extra of.
Oh,
so we
and
have-
do
yes.
you actually, like...
Yeah, I bring it to them because we can't legally sell liquor, so I'm not
Right,
going to sell
right.
it to them. I'm just going to give it to them. And we have a beer and wine license, so we do sell beer and wine, but we give them extra brandy or brownies, whatever they want.
All right, Rock, what are you bringing to the table?
As far as when people check in,
Muffins.
Do you have muffins?
well, no, the muffins, you can eat them at breakfast, but the stale, old ones, we throw them at you when you walk up.
Ah, okay.
So, yeah, no, there is a huge difference. Michelle brought up something the other day, again, dating ourselves. I'll bet you no one in here knows what we're talking about or what I'm talking about. So Donnie and Marie, a variety show years ago, and you know, Mac Davis and Hee Haw and all that crap. So they had a probably one hit song. I don't even know how much of a hit. It didn't make top 10 or
Are you
anything.
calling me a one-hit wonder?
No. So Donnie was rock and roll and she was country, and the song was I'm a little bit country, you're a little bit rock and roll.
Right.
And it was a duet. They go back and forth. So that's really, it's almost like leather and lace.
Yeah.
So Michelle and I do
I'm the
not
lace, you're the leather.
hide. Michelle and I don't hide the fact at all.
He's wearing his chaps right now.
Yeah. There's no backing them, but it is. The weather's getting warmer, so that's okay. No, so Michelle and I, we don't make it on our website. You know, we don't make it a secret. We tattoos, we ride motorcycles,
Yes.
Kid Rock, but it's not a party place. Okay, you got to come in with respect, but it's different socially, and that's what you're going to get there. And we try to send each other people that are going to fit in more. When we have 500 plus reviews, I try to keep up on those.
Well, we get a vibe for...
We do get a vibe, but
Yeah.
especially on the phone.
Yeah.
One of the things across the board, every bad review that we've had, there's not a single fly in my soup, broken air conditioner. Every single one screams. It's a punch in the mouth, so blatant. You didn't belong here. So, and that's just the way it is. You're not going to be able to help that. And imagine that I'm going to bring up McDonald's again. Imagine you go to McDonald's. Your friends tell you you're hungry. Where should I go? Just go to McDonald's. And you go to McDonald's and you order shrimp instead of and they don't have it, and they don't laugh at you or anything. But instead of just being gracious and walking out and going to find some shrimp, you're that person that sits in your car. You don't even start your car, and you unload on TripAdvisor about what a piece of shit this place is.
Yeah.
And that's what happens. You just didn't belong there. Get over it. Go drive through.
Right.
There's lodging for everyone. There's restaurants for everyone. Certain clothes, Levi's don't fit you right. You know what? Don't trash them. Go buy some Lee's.
Yeah.
DoorDash, whatever fits your butt. So, yeah.
All right, that leads me to two questions. But first, let me say, what is the biggest compliment that you usually get?
Mine
Do you
is-
ever get any?
Oh, fuck you.
Shoot,
Mine
why don't I
is
go
that-
first? Because it's going to take you like an hour to think of one.
I was going to take me an hour to list them, but my most common is that we go above and beyond and we think of every little thing that they didn't even know they needed or wanted in a hotel.
Brandy and brownies.
Yes. I mean, everything from, we have like little scrubbies and soap by the sink in case they want to reuse a dish and not wait for us to come and do housekeeping. We prep the coffee for them on arrival where the coffee and the water are already in the pot. And they just have to hit the on button in the morning.
Wow.
We put
Colonoscopies?
creamers.
Can you come to my
creamers in the
house and
fridge.
do that?
No?
We try to go above and beyond. And we have everything you would need for a beach day, like chairs, umbrellas, coolers, towels, sunscreen.
No.
We have
you
bug
really
spray
think of
by every
everything.
exterior door. We have bug spray. In the cold season, we have blankets outside on all the chairs. So, yes.
She's just bragging right now.
I really am.
Jeez.
I'm trying hard.
So here we are.
All right, Rock, defend yourself.
No, there's no defense. So here we are. What we're doing is we're talking about different kinds of customer service.
Absolutely.
That's
exactly
yes,
what it
goes
is.
back to
Yes.
that and what
those
you're
people
looking
that need
for.
that. We have found some people they don't like. We don't have a front desk, and neither does
Neither do
Meranova.
we, yeah.
But some people need that. Come down every 15 minutes.
Yeah, we get a lot of people looking for a front desk
Yeah,
that go through the
So
entire
there's different
house.
things.
Where
the beach
is it?
stuff.
And you watch them on the app.
Yeah. Well, one of the things right off the bat, before we even opened, Michelle said something about bikes. And I said,
yes.
oh, hell
We decided
no.
against bikes,
I'm going to
too.
be fixing bikes and the liability.
And
No.
liability, yes. Cafe Racer and Pedego.
Yeah,
are
they're
both
already
a
there.
block away.
So the biggest compliment.
Gotta go.
Oh, sorry.
Pedigo.
I always say it wrong.
Pedigo. Pedigo and Cafe
Pedigo.
Racer are right there.
There's like a little tilde thing on it. Yeah. Probably the two biggest compliments quickly is one, I had a lady I check in like 95% of the people. This lady didn't check in for some reason. And I was at the mailbox and she came up to me and she said, "Are you Rock?" And I said, "Yeah." And she said, "Oh my gosh, I am a traveling pharmaceutical salesman for the last 8 years. I am in 4 different hotel rooms every week." And she said, "I have never walked around in a room in my bare feet." And she said, "I came in, I got on the floor," and she said, "I tried to find dirt and I couldn't. And I was dancing in my bare feet."
Yeah.
And so I thought that was pretty
Amazing.
cool. Something I mentioned this morning at breakfast, because someone asked, was Europeans, maybe Germans more prevalent. They come to over here for a month. They land maybe in Miami. They go up and down the East Coast, the West Coast, stay in different places. So I'll check them in, and I might get to their room 3/4 of the way through the check-in, and they'll start this little side conversation, in German. I'm not understanding it, but all of a sudden they'll stop and look at me, and in English they'll say, "Do you have more nights?" And the reason is because one, they've been here before and they know where they're going next, whether it's St. Pete or somewhere that it's no big deal, or they see how nice my place is and they're like, "Oh my gosh, we want to stay here more." And so that's a huge compliment as well.
So, has being an innkeeper changed the way that you guys travel?
If you want to travel as a B&B owner, you can have a interim innkeeper. That's what they're called. And that's what we hired. She was amazing. And we weren't friends at the time that I traveled.
That would be so hilarious.
Otherwise,
Oh my
I
gosh.
would have used Rock or whoever he
A B&B
happens to
swap
use.
for a week.
Yes, I would love that.
Oh, that would be
Although
a fun
I need
movie,
to
like the
actually-
movie The Holiday.
Yes, like the holiday.
Yeah.
I wonder if you could give our guests the same level of customer service.
Remember my so sarcasm is how I hug.
That
That's
would
how
be
I hug.
fun.
Sarcasm is how he hugs. Yeah,
yes.
that's good. So yes, I still travel.
So, when you are looking to
She's
stay
trying-
somewhere, do you look for the same standards that you offer? And is
Yeah,
it
so I would
difficult for you to
always
find a
been-
good pillow when you're,
Not at all.
sleeping at another place?
The pillows all suck, pretty much. Besides my B&B, I don't bring them with me. I don't give a shit. I don't have any expectation of high quality
You don't call
pillows
ahead
when I
of
travel.
time and ask about
I
them.
pretty much expect every other place to not be as good as mine because ours is so well done. We are one of the cleanest, nicest places in town, along with Beyond the Wall. They are
Agreed.
top notch. So I definitely am not impressed when I travel. I've gone to some other B&Bs though and learned a lot from them. I went to North Carolina recently because my grandparents live up there in New Bern, North Carolina, and it's like land of B&Bs. It's all these gorgeous 1800, 1900 historic homes that are like old school B&Bs, like the proper ones where you'd
right.
have 7 or 8 rooms in a house.
And you have the creepy doll. There's always a creepy doll.
creepy
in
doll,
there.
and great quilts everywhere. But I went to the high-end ones, and that's where I learned some shit. That's where I was like, who do you order your sheets from? Where do you get your pillows? And who do you use to run your reservation system and all of that? So I got a lot of good feedback from B&B owners, innkeepers is what we call ourselves too. And I don't know, it's just, now I travel for research more than just luxury and enjoy myself. I actually try to get feedback and learn from people who have been doing a lot longer than me because I am a noob and I'm one of the younger people in the industry. Most people have grown kids that have gone off to college by now and are doing this as part of their retirement. So we are kind of an oddity in the industry.
So would you say you primarily stay at B&Bs when you do travel?
I can't because I have a 2-year-old. Most B&Bs are
right.
not child friendly. We are one of the few. Besides, we
No.
Beyond the Wall doesn't allow kids or pets. So we allow pets on a case-by-case basis only since we took over. But yeah, Frank and David did not allow kids or pets either for 20 years. When we took over, we decided that the cottage, our only detached room, could handle dogs if they were non-shedding and small. And not yappy. If the
They're
owner
very specific requirements.
Yes,
Kids or dogs?
both actually.
The yappy and shedding.
So, and we actually converted one of our rooms to a 2-bedroom, whereas when we had bought, all the rooms were only made for 2 people. They didn't even have futons in the living rooms. They did not want anybody sleeping on their couches or anything like that. But we knew that there was a need for family travelers, especially with our city's
Definitely.
restrictions on vacation rentals and stuff like that. There's a lot of people traveling with small children and pets. We definitely prefer kids over dogs. So, and we have a
I
pool.
would prefer the opposite.
You know what? Boom. Boom. Right there you go.
Far
Yeah.
as rentability of rooms,
You can
if a
crate
dog
dogs.
has ever stayed in that room, we can't rent it again. For some people who are allergic to dogs, that's the reason I prefer the kids over dogs.
So I think we're on the same
Yeah.
wavelength with that, and I've noticed around town you've actually provided water bowls.
Yes,
Yeah.
we have,
Throughout
which I thought was
town.
genius.
Yes.
Yeah,
So actually at
Not just throughout
Dunedin
town,
House of
throughout
Beer.
the breweries.
Yeah, Dunedin
Yes.
House of Beer. Basically
Almost every
everywhere you
brewery.
like
There's
to
a pattern.
go,
Yeah, there's a
right?
pattern.
Every brewery has a dog bowl.
I always see the dog bowl with
And I always joke that I
provided
would
by
provide the
Beyond the
water.
Wall.
You notice they're nice and low where the dogs can read them too. So
Yes,
there you go.
yes, that's
Yeah.
very important. Do you have a dog?
We have had 2 English bulldogs and 5 pugs. We currently have
Oh,
2
my gosh.
pugs. So I want to correct Heather. We do allow dogs in 2 of our cottages.
Oh, good.
So, and I also want to say too, we tried. We opened with kids, and seriously, the first weekend we opened, 2 boys decided to turn the lobby handicap ramp and front porch into a full NASCAR racetrack, complete with sound effects.
Oh, no.
And hurdling furniture to cut each other off, like in the corners, like you would if you were actually racing. And Michelle and I said right off the bat, okay, no children in the main house. Then it was a huge problem with playing soccer in the courtyard and mulch flying everywhere, jumping on beds, everything else.
Right.
So whether it's bad kids, bad parents, a combination of the two, we tried. But you want to show up, like literally, people, you ruin it
Yes.
for everyone.
Yes.
So
Totally get that.
no apologies. Can't do anything about it. So
Right.
Totally agree. I mean, if we had horrible kids, I totally would ban them as well. So far, so good.
So far, you've had the good kids stay.
I guess. And lots of babies. We get a lot of people just looking for a weekend away with like really young kids. That
yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
not so bad. We don't have to deal with the pool issues,
Right.
with cannonballs, and all
Yes.
that.
Yeah, we've not had a party issue. We've had one party there. Michelle and I, for whatever reason, we don't get away much. We came home at probably 11 o'clock at night. It was a Saturday night, and there was a full-on pool party with twerking and acid.
That's where I would want to be if I was having a pool party.
Yeah, absolutely. Acid, mushrooms, all kinds of crazy broken
God, I
I thought
bottles.
you said acids,
and
by the
mushrooms.
way.
No,
I think
no.
you said acid and mushrooms.
Yeah, acid and mushrooms.
Acid and mushrooms.
Cigarette butts, broken glass,
Acid and mushrooms.
everything going on at the pool. So basically, some people.
It always happens at the pool, right? Like, that's the party zone. That's where the wildest shit happens.
Yeah. They rented the place, rented a room, and then jumped on social media with their friends. Like, hey, check this place out. It's great. And next thing you know, we're rolling in at a party at our place. So it didn't go over well.
So, since you've owned Beyond the Wall, you haven't done much traveling. That probably ruined it for you, right?
Yeah. So Heather just talked about that. So in almost 3 years, in May, we have been. The first 2 years, we were away from the property overnight 2 times. So it's almost like having that first kid where you're all scared, to go overnight without them. So both times, it just happened to be a coincidence. 2 weddings in Daytona. Each time, probably 6 months apart, jumped on a motorcycle, rode up to Daytona, stayed overnight for the wedding. And then finally this last June, I had a Marine reunion in San Diego. So we disappeared for 8 days. And it was, it was interesting because you stress out, you're on your phone. I took, my tablet and was checking stuff every day. But we have a good crew, Laura and my daughter. Is 23, and between the 2 of them, they took care of it. We told Jenna when we walked out the door, look, kind of like, just keep it alive like a plant. And the only thing we ask is just like no bad reviews while we're gone, because I don't want to deal with that when I get back. So, and they accomplished it. So, yeah,
Awesome.
Hard to get away.
Okay, so one final question, and that is directed to you, Rock. I hear that you were recently anointed royalty.
Anointed. There's a word.
So I'm told that you were crowned the Mardi Gras King in Dunedin.
I was.
Can you tell us what that means?
There was, there's nominations, and a bunch of people got nominated. So, and for different reasons, I got chosen. So I showed up. I got my crown and stuff. I don't know. It has to do with community service and things. One of the things I wrote on Facebook after I got it was, and I take it very seriously, the whole reason Heather and I are even sitting here, and we have a relationship is that Michelle and I feel that our job is to, put people's heads in pillows, and this is what I wrote on Facebook, but our job is to get people to downtown Dunedin, so to the restaurants and the shops and stuff. So again, one more time, dating myself for like the fourth time, I feel like Captain Steubing sometime, the Love Boat. So these couples walk up the gangplank and they tell me they're rekindling this relationship and this and that, and then a week later I'm waving goodbye to them and they're all happy and stuff. But our job is to get people down to, Lucky Lobster and CC Riders and the breweries and, I can't mention every single person. Mm-hmm. That's our job. We take it very seriously. So I guess it got noticed.
Yeah, I love that post you made. It was good.
I guess it got noticed, and that's what it's all about. And it's no secret that, I'm a clown. It's my superpower. So I guess they thought that I would tolerate it.
Well, congratulations on your kingdom.
Thank you. I mean, it's huge. It's totally huge. I mean,
28 square miles.
Oh my gosh. Yeah.
I've looked it up, how big Dunedin is.
Oh, I didn't know it was so big. Actually, 28 square miles. Cool.
All right. So, Heather, what are your final thoughts on Dunedin?
Okay, so one of my favorite things of being a business owner in downtown Dunedin is that the business owners work together. No matter what background or beliefs we have or business we have, even like B&Bs, breweries, restaurant owners, apothecaries, we all work together. And a majority of them are women-owned. And even the government and the commissioners, mayor, and all of that are women. So it's really inspiring as a young woman to be in a city like that. I'm really happy for the village that I have kind of found and formed with friends and business owners. The entire outfit is actually from the Edinburgh French by Christy Jones. She's one of my favorite women.
It's very flowy.
It is very flowy. People know me downtown as the local hippie, but
it is. It's Stevie Nicks-y kind of, but I like
Rock
it.
That's my
calls me the
favorite
pinky
style.
out one,
The pinky out.
so
Pinky
I
out
like it.
hippie?
I'm a classy hippie, apparently. So that's one of my favorite things is the sense of community and just comfort I have with living where I work, because it's not something you find every day.
Yeah.
How about you, Rob?
I would say the same thing. Remember what I said earlier? How do we get to downtown Dunedin, to live there? Sometimes people will tell us, "Oh my gosh, it must be your lifelong dream to have a bed and breakfast." No.
Really epic.
So we could be living over a gas station, and it would have fulfilled our requirement of downtown Dunedin. So it has grown on us. Don't get me wrong, but never would have thought that. So what's the best thing? I think I talked about it earlier, where the Jimmy Buffett and the gay bar and the military stuff. I don't know of anywhere in the world where I can stand in one spot and look and see. I can stand in the middle of Purple Heart Park, point at Dunedin Salutes Freedom with military stuff, and see a gay bar at the same time. Mm-hmm. Okay,
Yes.
I mean that is stinking amazing. Okay, I love it.
And then you turn your head and you see the Gulf of Mexico.
Right.
And then you turn your head and you see 10 bars.
Yeah.
It's amazing. It really is.
Well, here's something else too. So Michelle calls Dunedin the most bra-free place in Florida because you
True,
girls,
I've seen her boobs.
You got
Her boobs.
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 True, I've seen her boobs.
Okay.
Redo it.
Okay.
That's what happens when you drink on Meet Us on Main
There you
Street.
go.
That's why it's a
But
podcast.
you girls go through this hell, and so what she means by that is, if you wear a little sundress around here, which she does, and you get dirty looks from other women. And so
Yes.
she finds it very refreshing, very hippie, that no one gives a crap, and So, anyways, so between
were
the
just
golf
like, oh my
cart
God,
and the
dude.
dogs and
Yes. golf
the gay
cart
bar and the
life, too.
Jimmy Buffett and the seafood, everything we
Yeah.
talked about, synergistic.
It really is.
Creating something really huge, as small as those little
Absolutely.
things are. Yeah, and it wouldn't be the same if there was only two of them or one of them, because there's places all over the world that have one of those things.
Right.
And here we are, and we haven't even talked about
We are
beaches and weather. And
really,
stuff.
really lucky to be where we are. I mean, planned or not, it's still.
It does sound
amazing.
pompous. I get asked a lot. It does sound. It feels pompous
Does.
to say,
Yes.
but I tell people Michelle and I could live anywhere we wanted. Like that's the truth. And so we live in Dunedin. There's a reason we live in Dunedin. So
Yep. Damn right.
Thank you so much, you guys. I've really enjoyed this episode. Tia, have you enjoyed this episode?
I have.
Damn right. You
Bar in the
have.
corner.
Tia, our bartender in the
she's
background.
lying.
Drink wench.
All right, stay tuned. We're going to put these two innkeepers to the ringer in a game. I don't know. Does that make sense?
Through the ringer.
Through the ringer. That's.
We're
I was
gonna
like, okay.
we're gonna fold fitted sheets for time. Yeah.
Actually, that was
That would
bad
be
laundry
really smart, by
that I
the
really
way.
needed
You
someone
guys,
to do.
You should do fitted sheets because my housekeepers are like pissed when they're like, "How do you do this?"
We have a super
Just-
secret way, but I'm not going to show you.
I know.
I'm
I
gonna
know the way.
start
Martha
making
Stewart
them do
taught
my
me.
housework
Ours
for
is better.
games.
I'm going to do the sign off one more time. Okay.
Fold my towels.
All right. Thank you so much, Heather, and thank you so much, Rock, for
worries.
being on our podcast today.
You're so welcome.
We are
I wasn't
going
honest.
to stay tuned for
Still
the
not wearing
game.
pants.
Alrighty, so this game is also brought to us by CUNY Brewing Company, where we are drinking our third drink of the day, which is the Red-Headed Stepchild IPA. Delicious and yummy. Please go get it now.
Yeah.
Cheers. Alrighty, so now it's the fun part of the game portion of our show.
Woohoo!
Yeah, keep that excitement really high right now because, I mean, you're going to lose it in a second. So what I've decided for you two today for our game is I'm going to make you both play the game Heads Up. Have either of you played
Heads
this
Up,
game
7 Up?
before? No, Heads Up as in the...
That's a blast from elementary school.
I know.
Blast.
Now I kind of want to do that, but then people would be like, why is it so silent for so long? I don't know. No, so the game is Heads Up. It's been made widely popular by Ellen DeGeneres. So neither
I
one
don't have TV. So I don't know
Neither
what
do
you're talking
I,
about.
but I've downloaded this game before, and it's Ellen is like the spokesperson for it. So I just assume that that's where it comes from. So essentially, you get to pick from one of these categories that I will give you. You guys are both going to play a round. So anyone at home who's listening to this or in their car and do not know the rules of Heads Up. So what you're going to do is we're going to have you pick a category, and then what you do is you put the phone up to your forehead.
I pick 80s metal.
That's not one of the categories. I
I click
apologize. All right, well, I'm going to give you the categories, and then you'll get to pick to choose from those. So what you do is you're going to be putting the phone up to your head. There is going to be something on your head that you are going to say. Heather has the phone on her forehead. You are going to have to use words other than what's on that screen to help her guess what that word is that's on the screen. And you have 30 seconds to do it.
Exciting.
So if you get it and you know what it is, you go down, you hit it, you're like, correct. If you don't know what it is and you don't want to waste the time on it, you go back and it's pass. So it's kind of like charades, but just words.
Okay, so is there an example? Like, that's not
Yeah,
what we see
would you
here.
guys like to play around? I will have, me and Stacey can play around real quick to introduce you to the game.
Yes, please.
All right, so we will use Animals Gone Wild.
What?
All right, so demonstration game. And then all of our listeners at home also get to guess along with us based on the adjectives, and we will let you know what it is at the end. Look how much fun that
I'm
is.
still trying to get over
And you
two
win
playing
cash
around.
and prizes, though. All right, ready?
Yes.
Face on forehead. Get ready.
So you look at this is easy.
Three.
What are we doing?
It hops, it's green.
Ribbit.
Grasshopper.
Ribbit.
Frog.
Ribbit.
Ribbit.
You got it. It didn't change. It has antlers. There's an organization, a charitable...
Reindeer.
No, it's
Deer.
a charitable organization
Moose.
called this.
Elks.
Yes. Small fish.
Minnow.
No.
Before a frog.
Tadpole.
Oh, sorry.
Oh. like this
All right.
together anyway.
I think they've got the point. All right.
So, I'm gonna have you both you'll hold it one round, you'll
good.
hold it the
All
next
right, I'm
round.
ready to start.
Okay. So
I'm in a
your
hurry.
options
If
are
you didn't-
branded, best of 2019, mix it up,
Cool.
or animals gone wild.
2019.
All right.
Yeah, fuck it.
I don't remember.
All right. So
19.
placing it on your forehead, and
Oh, God.
grab it, put it back
Put it
on
up,
the
put it
forehead.
up, put it
Go.
up. A movie with Robert De Niro. They would be wearing. They were not female, but they were wearing green
Irishman?
and shamrocks. There you go.
What do I do now?
Flip it down. Yep. Flip it down. It says correct.
Flip down.
Flip it down.
Flip it down
No,
now.
put it on your forehead, and then you just go down. There.
I see it says correct.
Oh, and that was gone.
Okay. She is not good
I
at
think
this
we should
game.
just shorten the game.
There we go. We got a correct one. Okay.
How about Uno?
All right.
What the heck? Mr. Rogers sang this crap when he was putting his friggin' shoes and sweater on. It's
Welcome to my neighborhood.
it's
It's a beautiful day in the neighborhood.
boom.
Did I do it?
Down again.
Yeah.
My phone is not.
Like here, don't like that. There you go. There.
It said pass.
What the
keeping
hell
track.
is that? The last name, a very, very famous soccer player of Spanish. He can do bicycle kicks over his head. Okay.
All right,
it?
Rock, you got.
Jordan Peele.
Oh, I don't know
I don't even know
Pele.
who that. Well, I was going to say Pele, but
But it's not Pele. It's
But it was
Peel.
Jordan
it's a
Peele,
not.
like
But I was trying to get you to say the word.
He's the one who does
was
the
on
movie Get Out, that new one that came out.
I don't know.
Don't know either.
And then
I
Us.
can't believe you got the narrow one. That's pretty good.
All right, so then now between for you, you get to choose branded, animals gone wild, or mix it up.
What is
Mix
brand?
it up.
Branded is like
up.
brand
Mix
names
it
of
up.
things like Nabisco, Oreos.
Okay, let's do branded, I guess.
All right.
There's nothing
you go.
inappropriate, more inappropriate than that?
Mix
no,
it up.
unfortunately.
That's my natural habitat. Okay.
Let's see if you can flip it.
Down is
Fancy
Correct.
purse that you love. It's a
Clutch.
purse brand. Sorry, it's a brand of purse.
Gucci.
Another
Oh, man.
starts with a PPP.
I don't know. I'm sorry. I don't know. I don't
We
know.
have 40 seconds left. It rhymes with Rada.
Prada. The Devil Wears Prada. I've seen it. A great movie.
There you go.
My kids
Flip
don't
it
watch
out.
it.
Prada, flip it. Oh, good job. Oh, that thing that we used to do before Netflix to rent movies.
The red box thing.
Before that.
Or,
In the 90s.
Oh,
Blue and yellow.
yes.
Come on.
I'm sorry.
Starts with the. But can
What's
I?
it start with?
If you don't have your ID, if you go into a bar and you show them this card, you will get in.
Yeah.
I can't remember. I know what it is.
Blue and yellow. Come on, 4 seconds. 3 seconds. Starts with. Blockbuster.
Blockbuster, yes. Sorry. I think there's still one in Gulf to Bay.
Boy.
There's one in Texas,
Yeah.
actually. It's the last one. All right.
But I didn't do good.
It's okay because everyone still wins a prize on Meet Us on Main
And
Street.
what's the prize today, Tina?
So, since
Ooh.
you got 2 right and you only got 1, that was part of it, so I didn't want you guys to play it. So there are 2 prizes. One is this
very large
beer
glass.
drinking glass that says "Run Forest Run" that
Yes.
is from Bubblegum Shrimp.
Yes.
Or a copy of To Wong Fu, Thanks for Everything, Julie Newmar,
What?
which is a fantastic
Oh my
movie.
God.
It is such a good
so,
movie.
Heather,
I've
you get to
never
choose
seen it.
because you
Well,
won, and then
I
Rock
don't-
gets the other one.
I don't own a DVD player or a computer with even a DVD insert, but I have a feeling he does, and he needs to see this movie to complete his
I
happiness
do,
in his
because
life.
Patrick Swayze.
And Patrick Swayze makes me
Yum!
so
in
happy.
Drag Queen,
Yeah.
literally, like in drag,
Yeah.
it's pretty awesome.
Yeah, they're all drag. Yeah, like it's totally Dunedin. So I will
yeah.
happily take Run Forest Run.
All right, the cup is yours, and then To Wong Fu
Thank
is
you so much.
Of course,
You are
and
so
thank you for
lucky.
playing
I love
Heads
Like,
Up.
I sacrificed by giving you this. I promise you. It's good.
I hope you all enjoy your
Should I watch
gifts.
this? Should I watch this with my kids?
Yes,
They will
and
totally-
Michelle and your dogs.
Okay.
The pugs
Yes.
In the
need to
pugs.
see this.
Lily and Uno.
Because it's a
Lily and
learning
Uno.
to appreciate
Can we talk about why
everybody.
Uno is named Uno?
Sure.
All right.
Side note.
Uno is a pug, and he has 1 ball.
He was born with 1 ball.
He was born with 1
So we
ball.
named him Uno. But don't, if you see him, Do not words hurt. Please don't.
Yeah,
tell him.
don't look at him
Do
and
not
tell
tell
him.
him. He
Yeah.
does not
Just-
know.
He doesn't know
Undercovers.
why.
He doesn't know.
He has no clue.
No.
But can I yell like Uno at him at
No,
least?
he's good with that.
Okay.
But he rides in a doggy stroller,
He
so
does.
you can totally laugh at him for that.
It's the Uno Mobile.
Do you have like Uno cards like taped all over it too? Like
No.
you don't want to do anything like that.
Princes.
They don't want to shout him out.
Yeah.
All right, guys, we'll enjoy your fabulous cash and prizes on another edition of Meet Us on Main Street Game Edition.
Thank you.
Wow, that was a super awesome interview. I had so much fun doing that and having Rock from Beyond the Wall and Heather from Meranova Bed and Breakfast here on the show with us. Thank you so much, guys, for being with us.
Faux show. And we also stayed very hydrated today. So thank you again to our beverage sponsors, Dunedin House of Beer, Cotherman Distillery, and CUNY Brewing Company.
Hydrated and inebriated here on Meet Us on Main Street. So, as usual, we like to end the show with all the events and fun things that are going on in the area. So, Stacy, what do you got?
All right, so starting Sunday, March 15th, I have the Poetry Revival at Scone Age Bakery. They will be doing, I think we've also mentioned it before, they do it on a monthly basis where the owner of Scone Age, Larry Jaffe, leads it. He is an accomplished poet and has authored a few books about poetry. So we've got that going on Sunday. What do you have going on, Tia?
Well, on Sunday, I have a bend and brunch at Crown and Bull, which is put on by, I want to say, Pure Yoga and Fitness, and that will be at 9 a.m. But backing up to Friday, this Friday is our second Friday, so the downtown night market will be at Hob from 6 to 10 p.m. Also, I believe a lot of the stores around the area also do stuff as well.
That they do. All right, and then next week, Tuesday, March 17th, is St. Patrick's Day.
Oh, yeah, we're getting all drunk on.
Oh, yeah, two Irish girls getting their crunk on in downtown Dunedin. Flanagan's puts on the best St. Patrick's Day party in the state of Florida.
It really does.
The entire main street will be shut down. There's going to be party and drinking in the streets, Irish music. I love it.
Too, because we will definitely be down
think you
there.
should.
And we will be taking some photos of all the action that's going around downtown and
For sure.
all the drinking.
If you see us out and about, feel free to stop and say hello. March 17th is a holy day of obligation for us, if you will, for the Irish.
I mean, it would be sacrilegious if we didn't show up. So, just saying.
Precisely.
And then-
Slancha.
And then other than that, we've got the Dunedin Seafood Festival, which is going to be going on Saturday, March 21st. That will be from 12 p.m. to 10 p.m., and it will be down at Edgewater Park.
Always a good event. And March 24th, which is a Tuesday, there is a lunch and learn at Marguerite's Cafe. We have one of our past podcast guests, Danielle Duffy from Think Tank HR, speaking about resume do's and don'ts. So if you always have questions about your resume, as I often do, go and get some tips from her. And my business, Edgewater Creative, will also be doing a headshot session. We're doing mini headshot sessions there for $25, which is super cheap for headshots. So if you are in need of an updated one, come check us out.
All right, and that's all we've got for this week, guys. Thank you so much for listening. We love you all. Please rate, review, subscribe. If you want any advertisement space on our podcast, go check out our Patreon page. And
Thanks, guys. We'll check you next time.
goodbye.